Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Commentario's Magic Stream on today's Sunday, October 18th, 2020. I am, as always, Grand Pause.
Big Cheese.
Arcat and
Ivory Starlight.
Welcome to Slogfest 2020. Surprise!
Good night.
Yay.
Y'all doing this without me. I'm done. Everything is zeros. Goodbye.
This is funny because Grandpa's isn't the one running the stream. I am. So guess what? We're not doing Slogfest. We're doing something else. Slogfest will have to wait a week.
Boo.
So we're doing that next week, right?
Yes, we are doing that next week.
Rip.
Nothing.
Are we?
Yes.
Zero.
Yeah. On account of well, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Anyway, what are we talking about first here? Let's talk about a couple of cards we've touched on in the past.
You're just not... We're going to ignore the elephant in the room.
Yes, we are going to ignore the elephant in the room.
Okay, whatever.
Okay.
Seems like an okay strategy to me.
Sure. Let's talk about some cards we've touched on in the past.
All right. So first up, GroCord, Father of Monsters. Now, I think we've explained in the past that GroCord, Legion of Doom was a little bit, excessively Legion and too much Doom. So here's Father of Monsters.
These are awfully similar, with one word being different.
2 words.
Well,
It might actually be the most important word.
This
True.
What's
is
the
true.
edit distance?
1. I don't know. Which system are you counting edit distance in?
stop it.
You already lost me.
So the main change here is it says main phase instead of immediate, which means that you can't just be like, oh, I see you're about to beat this one up. Nope.
No.
Right. There's actually some risk involved with this card now.
Yeah. And so we're pretty sure that this is going to be, a little bit more in line and less angry.
Sure.
And also I like the flavor on this one better. The
Yeah,
image
it's
is better. It's got our queen on it.
Sure.
Okay. But let's talk about... What?
Hold on. Before we get there, there's one other aspect of this. Apart from the fact that the card can actually be defeated now, this also means that players who are using this as a means of finding any other troublemaker in their deck are going to need to have a little bit of foresight. You can't just wait until right before your troublemaker phase or right before your uncover step to find what you need. You're going to have to pick it a turn in advance.
Yep.
So that's also going to be a slight shift down in the power level of this card, or just an increase in the skill cap. Either one of which are, well, we're not doing GroCord calculus anymore, so.
Significantly less sus version of GroCord.
Didn't see this one vent yet, but yeah. All right. Let's talk about another one that I think we've touched on, but not actually explained the full extent of what we're doing.
Have we even shown this yet?
Nope.
Nope.
Well, I mean, technically today.
Yes. And some people who were watching one of the art streams might have seen me working on this.
She is so adorable.
She is, right? You're just going to boop that little snoot.
I know.
Insert Flutter Wonder song here.
Basically.
All right. So this is the Growing Confidence reprint, if you will. And the major change here is it says, for the first time each turn. So you've got a dilemma printer, but it can only work 1 page at a time.
It's dot matrix.
It's a dilemma printer that has a bad print head, so you have to swap it every time you want to print something.
Ink's expensive. It prints 1 page per cartridge.
Wow. Wow.
That's not going to sell this one very well.
I think she'll sell herself well enough.
This is still a good main. It's just not excessively good like Growing Confidence was.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the design process behind rebalancing Growing Confidence, right? There were a couple of ways that we tried to attack the power level discrepancy with her. And the first one, which we somewhat hinted at in Discord and a few other community chats, was we thought, well, if we just make it so that you only gain the AT and draw the card when one of your problems leaves play, then that means that playing dilemmas doesn't just help you filter through your deck automatically. You have to still find a way for those dilemmas to leave play. So it's not like you're running a 40 or a 35 card deck. If you just stack it with dilemmas, you have to still do face-off shenanigans. Okay, sure. Except you just get a lot of that value one turn later, and it turns out that that value alone was still way overkill.
Which I was afraid would happen.
So it puts it on a delay, but it's fine. It just means that you do this once every other turn. Not great.
Still too good.
In some cases, it could actually end up worse, just because the opponent wouldn't necessarily be expecting it. You wouldn't be able to DFO as easily because the dilemmas weren't free. At least it wouldn't help you as much as it would if you were playing against control where there were lots of TMs or very high rec to confront problems. But what would happen is all of a sudden you'd gain like 3 AT after the face-off was completed, and you draw a bunch of cards, leaving you with more immediate speed tricks than your opponent was counting on you having, and then you could do stupid things like plushie dash on your opponent's turn when you had 0 AT at the end of, going into the face-off.
Seems okay to me.
But is it still okay when instead of a plushie dash, it's 2 unsatisfactory works?
Then it's less okay.
That's significantly less okay. That's about what I thought.
Yeah. So the solution for this is we wanted Fluttershy to still fulfill 2 roles. Number 1, we still wanted her to have Dilemma Synergy, which she clearly does. Number 2, we still wanted her to fill kind of an anti-aggro role. There's a lot of potential aggro decks in the core meta right now. And in the same way that you can have like anti-control or anti-farming lists, having an anti-aggro list that rewards you when your opponent tries to out-aggro you can be an interesting playstyle. We just needed to tune it down a little bit.
Yeah.
This is still a main that will reward players for playing dilemmas. It's just not going to reward the combo playstyle that you'd see with her. And that's okay. It won't reward it as much, I guess we should say.
Right. You can still try to do that. It's just you're going to find yourself running out of gas like almost instantly.
Yeah.
Not to say that you can't still do it if you have enough resources in reserve. It's just going to be a lot more difficult. And that's fine, because that particular line of play was, gonna be honest, kind of toxic.
Yeah. Okay, so Growing Confidence / Stunning Wonder is back on the menu. Great.
You mean Stunning Confidence?
Growing Wonder.
We're definitely not going to be mixing those up constantly.
No, not at all.
All right. And
That
Now-
one Fluttershy card.
Those of you at home, count how many times in the next few streams GP accidentally says Growing Confidence when referencing this card.
Why would you do this to me?
well, see, because I'm going to be in here occasionally throwing a Stunning Confidence in or a Growing Wonder in, and you're just going to be like, "What the?"
Those are going to be the mains for future sets. Stunning Confidence and Growing Wonder.
Sounds good.
Stwonder.
Splendid, yeah.
Grongfidence.
Grungfidence.
All right, we're making some words up here. I like
That
it.
sounds like an unset card to me.
Ha! Thanks for the suggestion. Write that down somewhere.
You're the one who keeps track of that.
Yeah.
Fluttershy, Stwunding Grongfidence. Okay, let's move on.
How
I'm
do you
losing my
spell
mind.
that?
I don't know.
Figure it out on the spot.
Citation
No.
needed. Okay,
Okay.
so these will come out with the New Dawn set, and they'll be available for players to print just like all the New Dawn cards and so on and so forth. Ponyhead has these integrated into it already, so if you'd like to, switch over to these or whatever, feel free to do so. A future update to Ponyhead will actually remove them from the display and switch them onto the ban list, the old ones.
Okay.
Speaking of updates to Ponyhead...
Yeah?
Is there a mobile version?
No.
No,
Never.
but there are 151 new cards.
That's how many Pokemon there were when Gen 1 was the thing.
That's
Yes,
how
it
many
is.
Pokemon there are, period. I don't know what you're talking about.
I have proof that you played and enjoyed the new game. You're not fooling anyone anymore.
He's got you there.
Yeah, he kind of does, doesn't he? Alright. Those of you paying attention to Discord might have noticed a post earlier today, and if you visited Ponyhead recently, you might have also noticed a few changes. So we're doing an open beta for New Dawn. The set is loaded into Ponyhead, available on the API, and basically just out there for people to comb over, and if you have the spare time, help us look for issues with the set. The link here, which I will drop in chat. Yeah.
Now?
Well,
Now?
Google Docs is giving me a pain here. There we go. Alright. It has a link to the forum where you can report issues, and an FAQ, as well as the game review and document update that brings in New Dawn. Now, this isn't the formal release. We expect to, once all of the issues are reported and fix a handful of small art things, formally release the set, including all the high-res images.
Correct. This is a chance to help make sure that we don't end up with any weird...
Amity ball.
Yes.
I think
That
someone
was-
already called me out on at least one spelling issue in a card's title.
Infiltrating.
That is deliberate and intentional.
Yeah, I saw that when we were proofing. I'm like, I'm not even gonna say anything.
I forgot we got another one.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I knew what I was doing.
The first time it was a mistake. The second time it was a meme.
Yes, exactly. Much like that gray Pegasus. What's her name?
Muffins, according to Pony Life.
Moving mare?
I think you mean Postal Mare.
Bubbly mare?
Backup Racer? Wait. One of these isn't like the others. Okay, so this is out here, available for people to mess with. And as we mentioned previously, we hope you're ready for Slogfest, because you got less than a week to prepare for it. You're going to need at least 2 sandwiches and probably a glass of water.
Yes. Water.
Lots of water.
Hail hydrate.
Mm-hmm.
Lord
What was
knows
the
our
first
throats are going to be shut.
Slogfest we did?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Does the one back in Crystal Games count?
I didn't
Did we
do a
do
slug.
one back then?
No, Sim
It was-
wasn't.
It wasn't a sim stream, but Bugle and a few other people did one, I think.
Wow.
It's a long time.
Maybe it was AD, I don't remember.
Anyway, one of the benefits of this open beta is it means Ponyhead's now available to build decks. That's pretty cool.
Gasp.
Guess what we did?
Built some decks.
Yeah.
You mean more decks?
Yeah, more decks. You want to look at some of them?
Maybe.
We got some time to
Well,
kill.
it's
We can
it's
look at
better
some
than
decks.
like going through every
What would-
single card in the set right now.
What would you do if we actually all just collectively said, no, we don't want to look at decks right now?
It'd be funny.
It would be kind of funny.
We'd wrap up pretty quick.
Yeah,
All right, let's actually go look at some decks here, huh?
sure.
All right. First up, What is this? Skystar Orange?
I mean, sure. We can call it Skystar Orange. It has Skystar and it has orange cards.
An orange. And one blue card that I don't think you're ever supposed to play.
I mean, you can. You've got Foffs.
If you really want to play that, go right ahead.
It might be okay, maybe.
It's got some purple cards, too.
It can scare a thing. Like, you'd have to set up for it, but that might be good.
Yeah, that's
It
okay.
does have a purple card.
I think I'd rather draw another card, though.
Yeah, probably would too. Okay, so if it wasn't immediately obvious, what's going on here is this is a Living to Laugh combo deck. The goal is we're going to draw our whole deck as fast as we possibly can. And we're going to get a bunch of pink power in play at the same time, too.
How
Probably
fast
by... Well, Featherbangs can draw quite a few. Spontaneous Song and Dance can make a bunch if we have a lot of cards in our hand. It is worth noting that if we can keep 7 pink power in play, which, surprise, surprise, is the exact amount that Skystar generates by herself with her tokens when she's flipped, then we have 6 cards that the instant they hit our discard pile, we get to draw a card. That's kind of nice. Apart from that, we're digging and dismissing and digging and dismissing
And drawing.
and drawing and drawing and drawing some more.
But not too much, because you want to make sure that Living to Laugh isn't played before you draw that last card.
Either that or to have a pinky sense, sure.
Yeah, don't lock yourself out of your win con by accident.
Yeah, would not be great.
What? No, that's funny. It's almost as funny as like building a combo deck and not including a win con.
Never gonna let me live that down, are you?
No.
That's fair. So there's obviously quite a bit of synergy here. Between Featherbangs, AJ and Pinkie Pie, and Spontaneous Song and Dance, we can make a ton of Earth Pony tokens, and those Earth Pony tokens can draw us a ton of cards, which we can then discard to draw even more cards. Disruption here is going to actually be somewhat high. We've got 3 belly flops, 3 pinkies present if we need to gain control of something, and a pair of Chaos Magic Blasts. And against opposing farm or very frustrating single big threats, Heatwave, which can actually hit 2 big threats.
I'd say it's kind of spicy, but
It's some value.
it's hot.
It's not garbage. I don't know what else there is to say. The Living to Laugh deck is, at least in core, pretty straightforward, I think.
Does it win?
Eventually.
It has won in the past. In
That's
testing.
good.
Okay.
Let's see. What do we got next here? Gonna go sail the high seas for a little bit. Yeah, I think that's basically what's going on here.
Okay.
Arr!
I'll let Ivory talk about this one.
Why me?
Avast, we got blue-purple off the starboard bow.
Are you implying that I steal things?
No.
This only has 2 easy as pies. What's wrong with it?
What? So, this is an updated version of a deck that some of you might remember called Pirate Booty, which was played at BronyCon 2019.
Rip.
Yes, rip. Just don't rip your cards, that's bad. It is an aggro deck that also uses the fact that it's into purple to mess with the opponent a little bit when it's not frantically scoring points. And what's nice is we have Luster Dawn now, so even more points will be scored. And Dr. Hooves, that 2-power multicolor card there, expect to see that card a lot.
That thing is a house. we need to talk about the fact that this is effectively a card that is 2 cost, 2 power that says you can move this card for free at the start of your turn. Except it also says, by the way, I'm going to help you card filter, and by the way, some of your events let you move me at immediate speed. It was really good.
A little spicy.
Last minute changes can do some really silly things as well. Getting a 2 AT discount off your next friend and off your next event means that you can play cards that otherwise aggro might not consider playing, like Legacy Leech.
Which is also just a good anti-combo tool, if we're going to be fair.
Sure. And there's a fair number of events in your deck, and if your opponent is running any, then hey, maybe you get to draw a couple out of it.
Yeah. And I think that one's going to be interesting because it means that you may end up having to do some rather unusual math for an aggro deck.
Aggro math is best math.
But it can also be very simple.
Have 6 AT generators.
You got Starlight Glimmer. You got Daring Do. Changeling Can Change is pseudo AT acceleration. Same Day Delivery is not AT acceleration, but it can be with Doctor Who's. Legacy Leech can be AT generation. Last Minute Changes is definitely AT value. There are 6 cards here that actually, well, there's 8 that say gain AT. There's many more that, actually there's 10 that say gain AT.
Allow you to stretch things a little bit.
Yeah. It depends on your imagination. By the way, watch out for that problem up there, that final questions problem. We're going to see that a lot.
How about that?
It turns out when the options that you present to your opponent are, hey, dump all your AT into confronting this problem immediately, or risk giving me 2 free points on my next turn.
I mean, unless you're pink and you're just sitting there going, go ahead.
Remember the old aggro rules? Those were great. Or not aggro rules, but confront rules.
Now we're going to... Yeah, we're going to go ahead and run that in a Nightmare aggro list. It's going to be fine.
Gross.
About it.
Gross.
You go right ahead and do that.
Yep.
Maybe I will.
Well, okay then. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good deck. Goes fast, does shenanigans. Arg matey.
Arg.
Arg.
Next list?
I've had enough of the high seas. Let's go back to the farm. Alright, hold on. Let me count these here.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those don't count. Only
is very
12
orange.
troublemakers.
Look, I'm running
Why
it.
is it so orange?
We could run 15, because it's mono orange. What do you want? But Sim, I hear you say, I thought Work Hard, Play Hard was a difficult main to run. Yeah, before Heatwave existed.
You got some heat wave going on there. Also, I enjoy the find the purpose in your life over there. That's a card we haven't seen for a while.
I don't like playing it, but you kind of have to sometimes.
That was a great card.
In one deck.
The one copy of that card. When you didn't have the sister hooves.
Yeah.
Or sisterhood.
Yeah. Meanwhile, it's kind of funny because what are we looking at here? There's barely 3 cards from New Dawn in here, but those make all the difference, don't they?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
There's more than 3.
There's 5.
Yeah, some of those are sideboard cards.
Really?
That's not fair to say.
Grandpair is a perfectly fine, serviceable card, and Cockatrice Encounter, okay, if your opponent has any kind of threatening card, you're going to be exhausting all their stuff, so you might as well dismiss them and get some rock tokens out of it.
Fine.
Heat Wave's one of the best things you could get. Monumental Evil, I guess you can argue, is a sideboard card. You'll take it out against control, but against any aggro deck, it makes them so sad. So sad.
And Legion of Doom needs no introduction.
Yeah, basically. That's fine.
Is it, though? I'm worried about it.
Also, the orange starting problem in this deck is just, like, horrific.
Yeah, it certainly disincentivizes opening with a Starlight, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. I know we can't see it from this particular screen here, but the flip average on this is not bad, despite the fact that you've got a number of 2-power friends in here. It's at 4.6. That's pretty decent.
That's not bad.
The secret to artificially increasing your flip is run troublemakers and villains.
Yeah, basically.
I think the flip average on this is going to be a little bit bimodal, but you've also got a bunch of ways to flip more cards, so less of a big deal, I think.
Yeah, fair. Cheese, any thoughts?
It's very orange.
But is it big orange?
No.
Not really. It has a 6 power.
Medium-sized orange.
Yes, medium orange.
It has a lot of 7s, actually. Just looking at card power.
Well, sure, but those 7s are mostly down in the troublemakers and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's got some fun stuff going on here.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, this ain't going fast enough for me. I want faster.
You want the zoomies?
I want all the fast. Let's
All
go
right.
blue.
All right, go blue fast.
All right, and it's not technically blue fast. It's more like blue face-offs. So
I mean, in the sense that you're going to be starting DFOs all the time?
Maybe not all the time, but
I'm already annoyed. There's a pony pirate.
Like once every turn or so. Every turn, maybe 2. Yeah.
Why are you annoyed by Pony Pirate?
Because it's annoying. At least you can't give it Swift.
I've got some news for you. Let's check out this yak over here. Let's see, what is that? It's Unity 5 blue, gets Swift. Unity 10 blue, pulls something with
Wildfire, yeah.
It's better than Wildfire. If you're going deeper into blue here, and spoilers,
Can
this
we
kind of
also
does.
give it Agile?
Nah.
Put it at Surprise Takeoff.
I was going to say, yes, we can.
Nah. Well, I'm sure we can find lots of interesting ways to do that. But yeah, okay, so we've got a little bit of like some light frighten going on here. Just, so you've got a way to interact and maybe address some of the larger threats on the board. And then there's just a bunch of stuff that's really good movement efficiency or power efficiency.
I knew
We're just going to get into face-offs and just be like, yes, hi, I'd like all these points, please. Thank you.
I knew there was something missing from here.
What?
There's no resource removal.
What? We don't need none of that. We're going to go too fast. Admittedly, yes, you should be running some of that. This really does need a
Blue does not have great answers.
It's got 2 options. You can run Winterzilla or you can run Spearhead.
Well, the option here, I think, is probably the Winterzilla.
Probably so.
I'm leaning more towards Winterzilla.
Yeah, so this could use some Winterzillas. I think this is a 47 card deck. I forget if this is a 47 or a 50 card deck.
It is 50.
Okay, Winterzillas would be, probably a good idea here. This has a few other fun tricks in it, though. The Spitfire response team is going to be very fun when your opponent's just like, I've got a troublemaker, it's fine. And then you land that thing and it's just like, oh, well, now I'm sad.
Thank you for the points.
Thank you for the points. That's an ability we haven't seen since Absolute Discord.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Nice.
It's going to be a nice little boost for blue.
Well, and then this has another trick. This runs stuck togethers. So if my opponent's over there, like, banking up a bunch of AT and trying to do something, I've got some bad news for them.
You're going to bring them down to 2 AT and tell them they can have 1 card?
Bring them down to 2 AT, yes. And I am 100% fine with this.
That's fair.
But you can also use this the other way and give yourself 2 extra action tokens. So that is actually a very bizarre form of AT.
Sure.
Gain.
Like, move everything to your other problems, play a Stuck Together with your last AT, get 2 AT, play a Loyal Pony to move your main up to Stuck Together, there you go.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's alright.
It's alright.
Hey look, it's that blue problem again.
Yeah. Hey look, it's a bunch of problems with 2s.
I like 2s.
Why would blue want 2 problem bonuses?
It's gonna go fast.
I direct your attention to the main here who's like, yes, hi. I'd like to win face-offs, please, thank you. Anyway.
Speaking of winning face-offs, and blue, and Pegasi.
Well, I think this is less about winning face-offs, it's just about going ridiculously fast.
Okay, sure.
But also winning face-offs because your lowest flip is 4. Oh, hey, look, it's Stunning Confidence / Growing Wonder.
Why would you do this?
Because it's funny.
Yeah, so we've got a Stunning Confidence aggro list. Pegasi
There's a
aggro.
lot of cards that are the same.
Yeah! How about that?
Like,
Yeah,
the
there
whole
are.
blue section is the same.
No, the blue section has actually received a couple of small tweaks. 2 Rainbow Dash Pony Pirates are in here, which is interesting. And the Rainbow Dash Fierce Loyalty.
The last deck also had 2 pony pirates?
I think later versions did, but I don't think the Non-Continentals version
Oh, no, you're referring to that.
did.
I was
I
talking
think
about
she
the last
was
deck we were
talking
looking
about-
at.
Yeah, the last
okay,
deck.
Okay.
I was like, what?
So I think this is full of the usual suspects, but we've also got a few new things here.
Okay, let's play a fun game. Look at that card to the right of Meadowbrook. Look at the pony that is on that card. This is a lie. That is not a pony. That is a bunny. Look at the card that is beneath both biceps. Look at that bunny. This is a lie. That is not a bunny. That is a pony.
Correct.
Angel is just Fluttershy's persona.
This will not get confusing at all.
They both have both traits, so it's fine.
Yes, but they're listed in different order. It will be even more amusing when your opponent says, all right, I'd like to dismiss Angel, and you're like, are you sure? And they point to the Fluttershy, and they're like, yes, I want to dismiss Angel. And then you call the judge. I think the one other card that we should probably highlight here is Crash Cloud. In between those 2 blue dilemmas there. Pegasi decks like making Pegasi tokens. And when you get Pegasi tokens as a result of playing Pegasi, question mark profit.
Question mark profit. Well, how about, question mark scoring points? Let's look at this thing over here.
How are we scoring points? Where are points? I want points.
Please, brother, may I have some points?
Yes. Oh, hey, I get to retire Pegasi.
Oh, hey, those Pegasi that would be leaving at the end of turn anyway.
Yeah, seems good. Oh, and then this can interplay at immediate speed, so it's just like, okay, there's a Crash Cloud over there, that's nice, whatever. Oh, look, I'm about to win this face-off. Let me just windmill slam one of these in.
Get a token, retire the token, score a bonus point, have this effect in play. Yeah.
Might take a little bit of setup, but yeah.
I can dig it.
Alright, we gotta Stuck Together over there, because of course, that's actually very good in this deck, because it if you go down to 1 token and then play a stuck together, you can actually go up to 3 if it's your first dilemma.
Correct.
That's not bad.
Just be sure you process your triggers in the correct order.
Yeah, make sure you do that right. Otherwise, sadness is going to ensue.
Do also note on the Stuck Together dilemma, that functions when you play it, and the Rainbow Dash Fierce Loyalty puts a dilemma into play. Don't get yourself caught with that. Just bring Washout's performance into play and get a 2 AT discount instead. It's much better.
Yeah. Alright.
Alright, these decks are all too fast.
You want some control? You want some slowdown and chilling?
Jeez, help us grind it out here. Let's pull way back on the speed.
Remember when Cheese was just a combo player and not a dirty control player?
Remember when I was an aggro player?
No.
Yes.
I have never known you to be an aggro player.
We're gonna have to go back to like the
14?
Crystal Games metas. Ugh.
Actually, that's a lie. I remember Cheese did play an aggro deck once.
I see like 4 colors here, and I hate it.
Blue, orange, pink, white. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Okay, so we got some Frighten and some Dismissal.
I don't like the amount of chaos going on here.
Yeah, I'm looking at the number of chaos cards here. And I'm looking at those Spike and Gabbies and the Pinky Sense, and I'm like,
I'm looking at Chaos Magic Blast there and just being like, oh.
That seems fun. Does this have the card that lets you put the flipped card on top of your deck? Or is that a purple card?
You mean Pinky Sense?
I mean, yeah. No, wait. That's if you would discard a card.
There are several ways you can put cards on top of your deck here. Pinky Sense will definitely help you do that, but GroCord, the main, flips over to Discord, who lets you flip the bottom card of your deck instead. That's pretty good. And Baby Flurry Heart lets you start a face-off, and if you win the face-off, then you get to put one of the cards you flipped into your hand.
That's pretty good.
Disgusting.
Spike and Gabby let you flip extra cards and ignore one of them. You get your Desert Roads and your Monumental Evils and Rockhoof to protect them. Grandparent can flip extra, so you got like Staff and Sombra, Chaos Magic Blast, and
This looks kind of fun.
I think that's our first sign that there's trouble brewing here. Cheese is like, this looks fun.
It's missing AT generation, but other than that...
Yeah, but you get to start...
Not. It's got AT generation down there in the corner. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you got the GroCord. It's fine. You get to start with Buckball strategy, which means you have 4 orange right out of the gate, so you can go like turn 2 Desert Road.
Disgusting. That's actually really disgusting. Ew. Ew.
Did you just realize you could do that?
No, I know you can do that. It's just disgusting. Like...
It's pretty good.
I hate it.
I love it. I say I love it now. I still think I'd rather play against this deck than against Chrissy, because at least this one seems like I can maybe interact with it.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Debatable. Fine. You can interact with it until you realize how futile it is.
What, you're saying this twists the knife by giving you a little glimmer of hope?
Yes.
So Fanman asks, if there's so much deck flipping, won't you run your draw deck down and lose? 2 things with that. Number 1, you do not lose for not being able to draw a card from your deck in MLP. That is only in other card games. If your deck is empty, you just don't flip stuff for face-offs. Second off, there are many ways to get cards back on top of your deck here, or to just re-flip the same cards over and over again.
Which, as a Chaos Control deck, you're probably going to be flipping the same cards over and over again through various means.
Correct.
Yeah, it's not going to be quite as bad as Waking Nightmare of Old Core.
You're going with Waking Nightmare, not Tantabuse?
Yes, because Waking Nightmare stuck around. Tantabuse was just like, you know what, I think we can just be done with this ban. Waking Nightmare stuck around for a while, and it was a bit of a force, because if you let that get going, you were not going to have a great time.
True. Also, speaking of Tantabuse, hey, look at that GroCord that has a chaos effect that says your opponent loses 1 AT.
Only one.
Yeah, it
Only
says
one.
lose 1 AT, not
One.
all AT.
And not both players. Little more fair. Still some flashbacks.
Yeah, low power, and it exhausts, so there's a significant amount of risk if you're going to be messing with that.
All right, how about one more? Ivory, what you got for us?
All right, let's take a look here. Okay, hold on. All right, let me count the traders here.
I think Ara should talk about this one.
No.
Okay,
there's too many traders here. Like
Ara, talk about the deck. There are exactly 2 non-traders.
2, 3.
Isn't this trader pharynx? Yeah.
There's both pharynxes in here.
There are in fact both.
Where's the other? Oh, there it is.
There's one where he's still a good changeling, and one where he turned into a bad changeling. Although it does have Arcqueen in it, so this is fine. I'm okay with this. Sure.
It has 3 winks in it. I love it.
So this is obviously a mono-white aggro deck, focusing a lot on changeling synergies, while also utilizing a lot of the control cards that white has available to it. Most notable of are Wink and the hats, and is that fashion over? That's the resource removal. What was the other? Oh yeah, dramatic apology for getting rid of cards that you don't want there anymore. You just have to be careful when you play it, because you might accidentally banish something of yours that you really wanted.
Well, admittedly, for the effect that you get off of that, it's, that's probably going to be worth it. If you really have to nail something big that needs to not be in play.
Yeah. It's not like belly flop where you can just use it whenever you feel like it. You have to have no other out for you to want to play that, in my opinion.
You've got 2 pharynx anyway. If you really want something, you can just be like, all right, it's mine. And then your opponent will ask you how many changelings you will have, and you will laugh.
And smile and say all of them.
Speaking of having all the changelings, hey, we've got the ability to get a lot of power in white. What if every card had a princess mask on it?
Can we just call this deck changelings with hats?
Is this like llamas with hats, but with changelings instead?
Yeah. I think so.
I'm okay with this.
It's changelings with masks.
There's hats here too.
And dresses, and also, whatever Heart of the Sea is.
Also, I'm okay with this, because I'm going to sit there, and if you make me play this, I'm going to plunk Thorax into play and then put a dress on him. Just be like, look at you. You're the cute one.
He will rock that dress, and there's nothing you can do to stop him.
It's true.
He will.
And then you will be sad, because he will be like...
He just wants to feel pretty.
No, if I'm going to play this deck, and I'm going to mulligan for all 3 Owie Zodals and drop every single one of them turn whatever I have enough rec.
Yeah, that's those are going to be kind of valuable for Ocellus, because that will ensure that Ocellus gets her plus power modifier. Like, real fast. Like, the main problem with those is that as the game progresses, you're going to look at those as you get more and more points. Just be like, I don't really want to play that.
That's why you just discard them early on and then bring them back with surprise summoning, and you're like, ha!
Disgusting.
You thought you could escape. Why, yes, I would like to bring back something that comes into play with 5 power.
And you might sit there... You might sit there and look at this deck and be like, okay, wait. We're doing white aggro things, but our decks, like our problem deck bonuses are kind of garbage.
Yeah, it's 2 zeros.
Yeah. Except for the fact that every single one of those is a starting problem, so Starlight and Chrissy say that our starting problem bonuses are increased by 1. So we're actually running 2, 4, 6, 7 2 bonus problems. Huh, that's more than those blue decks were running earlier.
Yeah, and thanks to the power boosting shenanigans going on here, you probably won't have too much of a issue hitting the increased Rex on those.
Probably not. Also, there aren't any increased Rex on those. That's +2 to confront your non-starting problems.
Kind of spicy.
Your dilemma, however, will be 8 power, be aware, or 8 Rec to confront. Just be aware of that.
You weren't going to use that to confront. You were going to use that to get something back.
I mean, sure. Just saying.
I mean, if you can confront it, definitely do so, but...
Yeah, could probably get at it. Should be okay.
Also, you will never have any issue having 7 unity for that wink.
Nope. Like you... Yeah, it's...
Your main alone will make that, like, your main plus Sweetie Belle or Chrissy or Patagium or, yeah.
Like,
you get
half
the idea.
Of the cards in your deck will do that, yeah.
It's just going to be great when you sit there and see your opponent with 1 AT on your turn, and you're like, if only I could go off and, like, aggro this turn without my opponent disrupting me. Oh, wait.
Wink.
And then they make the exact face that Starlight is making on that card. And you make the exact face that Trixie is making on that card.
Except Starlight would need to be slightly more scrunched looking.
Seems good.
Starlight's pulling some faces this set. Nice.
Wow, that was 7 decks.
It was 7 decks.
Were they good decks?
And there's more out there to make, or have been made, that we haven't talked about. You guys should go and make decks.
Agreed.
And you can.
And if you find anything that needs addressing or you're concerned about, you should definitely let us know using the document that Ara posted earlier.
Or you should just spam us all in Discord and say, hey, will you review my deck, please?
I mean, you can do that too if you really want to, but...
I mean, there's no end to people in Discord that'll maybe give you a bit of time and take a look.
Well, for deck reviews, yes, but for issues with the cards, should use the document.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's mostly so we can just track it and have a reasonable system to, figure out what's been reported and what's been fixed and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, I should probably put a link to the spreadsheet containing all the issues in that document too.
It's a good idea. Are we linking that in the sideboard? Or sidebar?
I can, but I'm also sticking it in the document.
That's
let me link that in the yeah.
Well, while you're linking things in the sidebar
chat window there,
I think that will about wrap up our deck discussion because we want to leave some room for other people to explore. We don't want to say, look at every possible deck you can play.
Meta.
Yeah, we solved the meta for you guys. No creativity allowed.
We would, of course, still like to give a big shout out to all of our patrons over on Patreon. Thank you so much for your regular support. If you aren't currently a patron but you enjoy what we do, please consider donating. Doing so does enable us to continue making content like this and lets you earn some great perks as a bonus. If you have comments or questions you'd like to send our way, feel free to reach out to us through Facebook, Twitter, or email. And if you're a patron, you can also chat live with us on Slack any day. Anytime.
Well,
I've gone to bed at like 2, and I've seen Cheese Up playing games, and then I've woken up at like 6:30, and I've seen Cheese Up playing games.
His Factory Town was showing 13 hours in a row played earlier.
I mean, that doesn't necessarily count. I've definitely left stuff like Factorio up for days at a time, just letting the factory idle.
I think it counts for Cheese.
It probably does.
If you are looking to watch any of our previous videos, including tournament recordings, you can find them on our YouTube channel, which is linked just below the stream. But with all that said, thank you to each and every one of our viewers, both here now and watching this recording later. We are, as always, Commentary is Magic. I am, as always, Grandpaws.
Big Cheese.
Arcat, and
Ivory Starlight, who is apparently slogfesting next week.
I'll have you know that both the intro and the outro, we both all said our names for the first time in like a year.
it's been months, yeah.
It's been a long time, it's true.
Just means I'm never saying my name again.
Well, no, that's fine, because next time I'm going to introduce myself as Stunning Confidence.
And I'm Growing Wonder.
See,
and we'll see you next week for Slogfest.
I figure if I keep doing this, you'll get it straight faster because it will annoy you.
That's up.
Let's see if I'm right.
That's wishful thinking.
Yeah, we'll see.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.